In the late 1980s, Japanese animation explored some of its most extreme, experimental, and controversial frontiers. Among these dark corners of anime history stands a trilogy of OVAs that pushed the limits of violence, despair, and human brutality. This series was called Violence Jack. Based on Nagai's long-running manga, the OVAs depict a Japan reduced to ruins, where civilization has fallen and only the strongest survive. Within this wasteland, a colossal figure appears again and again, a mysterious wanderer known simply as Jack. His presence is as unsettling as it is necessary, because in a land where injustice reigns, Jack becomes an unstoppable force of retribution. This is the story of the 3 Violence Jack OVAs and the disturbing world that shaped them. The OVAs take place after a catastrophic event known as the Hellquake, a massive earthquake caused by a comet impact. In moments, the Kanto region is reduced to rubble, cities vanish. Entire populations are buried beneath the destruction. What remains isn't a damaged nation, but the total absence of one. No government, no law, no structure. In that vacuum, brutality becomes the norm. Raiders, gangs, and warlords seize control of scattered survivors, imposing fear as their only rule. Wandering through this desolate land is a towering being, violent, enigmatic, almost mythic, known as Violence Jack. Whether he is man, demon, or something in between is unclear. But one thing is certain: whenever the oppressed reach their limit, Jack rises, and the wasteland remembers why it fears his name. The first OVA introduces a wasteland ruled by the Slum King, a tyrant whose soldiers terrorize anyone left alive. Jack encounters these men and destroys them with overwhelming strength. At the same time, we shift our focus to Mari, a survivor kidnapped and taken to a brutal sex camp, a place where every trace of humanity has vanished. Her boyfriend, Kenichi, attempts to save her, but is hopelessly outmatched. Drawn by the cruelty surrounding the camp, Jack crosses paths with Kenichi and joins his desperate rescue attempt. Together, they confront the sadistic enforcer known as the Harlem Bomber. The mission succeeds. Jack kills Harlem Bomber and frees Mari. The escape, however, costs Kenichi his life. And when it's over, Jack doesn't remain to be thanked or remembered. He simply fades back into the wasteland, leaving Mari to continue alone. The second OVA is widely regarded as the most disturbing. It unfolds in the buried ruins beneath Tokyo, where survivors trapped after the Hellquake have formed 3 hostile factions. Section A: ordinary citizens trying to maintain order. Section B: criminals who embrace chaos. Section C: a group made up mostly of women and former models. When Section A seeks shelter with Section C, Section B retaliates, unleashing a wave of violence. Raids, assaults, torture, and cannibalism. Hidden deep below this underground city lies Jack, dormant beneath the debris. When Section B launches its full attack, Jack awakens and cuts through the labyrinth with unstoppable fury. He confronts their leader, a man who has descended into cannibalistic madness, and defeats him in a brutal fight. Jack then guides the remaining survivors to the surface. Above them stretches a devastated, empty world, but they choose to move forward. And by the time anyone looks for him, Jack has already disappeared, claimed once more by the silent wasteland. Hell's Wind focuses on a group of survivors who manage to build a peaceful settlement called Hopetown. For a moment, it looks like humanity might begin to rebuild. But peace never lasts long. A brutal biker gang known as Hell's Wind invades the settlement. They kill, rape, and destroy everything in their path. A young woman named June and her boyfriend are attacked. The boyfriend is murdered, and June is assaulted and abducted. A school teacher is also kidnapped and taken to an abandoned airbase where the gang hides. A small orphan boy left behind prays for help, and Jack answers. His entrance is explosive. He is shot, stabbed, even blasted with rocket launchers, but it doesn't matter. Jack literally tunnels underground to avoid the explosions, erupts from the ground in flames, and annihilates the gang in a series of brutal battles. He rescues the teacher, frees the remaining captives, and leaves the ruins of the gang behind. And true to form, Jack silently walks away. Despite its reputation for shock value, Violence Jack isn't just gore for the sake of gore. Each OVA reinforces several key themes. A world without rules. When society collapses, the worst of humanity rises to the top. The cycle of brutality. Violence breeds more violence. Every community in the OVAs falls because cruelty overruns hope. Jack as a force of nature. He isn't a hero in the traditional sense. He doesn't save everyone. He doesn't seek thanks. Jack exists as a kind of punishment, a violent balance to an already violent world. Survival and resilience. The survivors, especially the women in Evil Town and the citizens of Hopetown, continue walking forward despite unimaginable trauma. That tiny spark of hope contrasts sharply with the overwhelming despair around them. Violence Jack is based on a long-running manga by Go Nagai, originally published starting in the 1970s. The OVAs adapt only a small portion of the original material, but they carried its most intense and shocking elements to anime audiences. Today, Violence Jack is remembered as a pioneer of extreme post-apocalyptic anime, a major influence on gritty action and dystopian worlds, a cult classic known for pushing boundaries, and an example of Go Nagai's unique blend of violence, myth, and bizarre characters. Although it's not for everyone, and absolutely not for sensitive viewers, it remains a landmark in adult anime history. And that wraps up our look at the 3 Violence Jack OVAs. Whether you consider it a masterpiece of brutal storytelling or an overwhelming shock fest, there's no denying its impact on the history of mature anime. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching. And let me know in the comments what other extreme or classic anime you want me to break down next. My name is Alex, and this is Scriptum Studio.